Welcome to the It Doesn't Hold Up podcast. We review and reevaluate all things we remember fondly from our childhood and years prior to see if they still hold up. And more often than not, they probably don't. I'm Stuart Shepherd, along with my co-host and good friend Michael Smith. Smith, how are you doing?
Fine and dandy, Stu. Dandy and fine. How are you?
Fantastic. Well, as you can see, I am out of my cast. I did promise that on the last episode that I hope to be out of the cast by next episode, and I am. So at the moment, I'm very much, if you're watching on video, live long and prosper. I have my two fingers taped up, and yes, I'm hoping to be out of this bad boy completely by the end of January, February. So we shall see. We shall see. But I'm doing very, very well. And I see what you did. Dandy and fine, fine and dandy. Good. Excellent.
Yeah, you see what I'm doing? I'm already quoting the film. I'm already quoting it. It's the only quote, unless you want me to make a number of elf.
Yes, the elf puns are prolific for this, but
I've counted them.
Well, maybe keep that for your Smith trivia. Cool, but yeah, before we go on to said nomination for this episode, I want to talk about last episode's feedback. So, don't know about you, Smith, but some of the people who said to me was like, that Tango and Cash film you were talking about, I've never seen it, but I want to. I really want to.
A lot of people hadn't seen it. My other half said, which one's the dog? And I was like, no, you're thinking of Turner and Hooch.
No, you're thinking of Kane one.
Yeah, it's a different film. Arguably, it would have been better if Turner and Hooch, if one of them had been voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
I would have loved it.
Oh, I'm a dog.
Excellent. Oh, and the other thing is, I got a bit confused about this Fubar thing. Like you said, it's been going around for ages. I'd literally only ever heard Fubar when I saw this film. But somebody has left a comment on YouTube. It's our good friend Alex, friend of the show. He has clarified that Fubar was used by the US military in World War II, and it may have been a play on the German Furchtbar, which was explained in detail in Saving Private Ryan. But I do not remember any of that from Saving Private Ryan, and I only ever came across Fubar when we watched this film. So there you go. Great. So, did you hear anything else, or is it just a case of people just want to watch this film now because it's awesome?
People just want to watch the film, and then they should. Everyone should go and watch Tango and Cash.
Yeah, you'll have a jolly good
instead of this.
So yes, so this episode's nomination came from Smith himself, and he fooled us. We thought he was going to say Jingle All the Way. It was not Jingle All the Way. We might have had more to talk about if it was Jingle All the Way.
I've never seen Jingle All the Way.
Well, you should have done. Oh no, that goes across
our
mission statement. Yeah, you have to have at least partially have watched it to cover it as an adult. But no, so this episode's nomination is Santa Claus the movie, not to be confused with The Santa Claus. It's Santa Claus the movie from 1985. And a brief synopsis is it's an origin story essentially of Santa Claus and then his adventures to deliver presents to all the little good boys and girls all over the world, but mainly New York. So there.
Mainly New York.
Mainly New York, even though it's filmed in Pinewood Studios. But there you go. So I did mention, it was out from 1985. Now, for the purpose of this episode, we are going to be covering Christmas 1985 as part of Smith's scene setting. So Smith, take it away. What was going on in Christmas 1985?
Christmas 1985 was my first Christmas on the planet, so it was pretty special. What was going on? Didn't really look at the news because I think we covered it all in our previous 1985. So I looked more at the kind of the pop culture.
We didn't cover 1985 before.
Have we not covered 1985?
No, this is the first time. But it's fine. This is a Christmas episode.
I thought we'd covered 1985. Oh, damn it!
I'm sorry.
I could have done the news.
We can cover 1985 again. It's fine. Anyway, back to Christmas 1985. What's going on?
Well, Christmas 1985. The top toys of the year, relevant to this topic: Transformers, Cabbage Patch Kids, the Atari 2600.
I think I had that.
Yeah, and more importantly, G.I. Joe.
Well, apart from the Cabbage Patch Kids, they all sound like pretty solid toys. But yeah,
pretty solid toys. What was number one in the music charts was "Merry Christmas, Everyone" by Shakin' Stevens.
Oh, it's not my favorite Christmas song.
Stone Cold classic.
Really
the top film was the festive classic Rocky IV.
Well, it's set in the snow. It kind of is.
But Rocky IV was the biggest film in December of 1995. Was Rocky IV, followed by Spies Like Us, which is shit. Jewel of the Nile, a film called White Nights, which I've never heard of, but I'm going to have to assume is probably racist. And at number 5, Santa Claus the movie. It was the 38th grossing film of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It did, however, beat Clue, which I find deeply offensive because that film is a classic. The only other kind of things worth noting is that on Christmas Eve was the first ever EastEnders Christmas.
Is that the one where Den and Angie split up and he gives her divorce papers?
I don't know. I've never seen it. For those listeners and YouTube viewers outside of the UK that might not know what EastEnders is, it's shit.
That's all you need to
So,
know.
so that's all you need to know. That is my scene setting for Christmas of 1985. I don't have much more to add. I should have looked at the news.
That's fine. I just wanted you mention about Rocky Four because Rocky Four does actually take place at Christmas. So he goes to fight Drago in Christmas week. He flies out on New Year's Day. So
Well,
you could
you,
argue. There's a
you
lot of
could
people
argue, you
argue
could argue
Lethal Weapon's a
die.
Christmas movie. Die Hard 2 is
It's.
a Christmas movie.
I mean, we can get into this, but there's a difference between a film that's set at Christmas and a Christmas film. These are different things.
Yeah, there's no real Christmas messaging in Die Hard 2 or, Lethal Weapon. But there you go.
The Christmas message of Die Hard 2.
Don't go to the airport. Cool. Right. So, how old were you when you first saw this, and how did you see this? Cinema obviously out the window. You were way too young. So, when did you first come across this?
Maybe I saw it at the cinema. I wouldn't remember. I came across this on television,
Mhm.
probably around about the age of 6 or 7. Can't really recall, but I definitely saw it on TV as a child several times. It's one of those films that I sort of vaguely remember. Like you kind of
Yeah.
get these kind of flashes of, and there are images and bits. There are certain kind of things that are burnt into my brain, and those are the things I remember. The actual film itself, the plot, what happens, the performances, all of that, no, nothing. Don't remember any of it. And it kind of melds and blends with other films,
Yeah.
and just sort of kind of hangs together with this weird kind of mishmash of Christmas memories and too much chocolate, too much excitement, too much
Yeah.
David Huddleston.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting because I'm kind of the same because I don't want to say too much because we're going to talk about the plot, but there's a couple of scenes I can remember. So I think I would have been around about the same age as you. I think it was randomly on one Christmas Eve one year, and I caught the ending. I distinctly remember like the last shot of the movie. I was like, oh, I remember that. And then, yeah, I didn't watch it for years and years and years. And then about 5 years ago, I got pissed and watched it. I thought it was amazing. And then I watched it a couple of days ago, Stone Cold Sober. And yes,
Well, I mean,
my
I
review
have
might
this.
somewhat might have differed.
I have this. To be full disclosure, I have this on DVD. I've had this on DVD for a while,
Oh,
and I've seen it a few times over the years. Now, whether or not that colours my opinion of it is neither here nor there. But yeah, it's very strange.
it is.
It's a very, very strange film.
It is. And also, yeah, it's a bit like you as well. I've kind of mistook it for something that happened in Scrooged. I was like, hang on a minute, didn't? Oh no, that's Scrooge. That's that we've done that a lot on this podcast, like mixing Back to the Future with like Masters of the Universe and other shit like that. But yeah, okay
So
then.
wait a minute, where's the bit where he's? Oh no, that's Pete and Dudley. Yeah, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, this is not Derek and Clive.
No, it's not Derek and Clive. Yeah.
Right then, should we delve into the plot?
Oh yeah. Yes, let's.
Right, so we begin, and it's all magical like credits, but
Oh, it's magical credits that look exactly the same as the Superman credits. Because I wonder if the producers are the same.
Yes, I wonder, and the writer. So we're in the Middle Ages, in the middle of nowhere, somewhere. It's like, is this America? Is it supposed to be Europe? Is it supposed to be some fantasy land? Where is this?
You skipped over a very important bit. There's a song.
All right.
We are part of a miracle over the opening credits, and all I've just written down in my notes is "fucking hell."
I mean, I kind of got annoyed with the soundtrack all throughout. Like, it's
Yeah.
Christmas. That's terrible.
Aled Jones. That's Aled Jones.
What, singing the first one or
Singing the first song, yeah. Singing the title song.
okay. Because the other one is Sheena Easton, who did
Yeah.
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, but Aled Jones was singing the title song, so nothing gets more Christmassy than Aled Jones.
It really doesn't. God bless him.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It's Christmas Eve and it's all snowy, and there's hundreds of kids at Grandma's house for some reason. Some wooden shack.
There's a bunch of fucking gormless kids sitting around going, or some silly old sod tells a story that's boring as shit.
Yeah, oh, Granny, you told this story last year. Shut up. Where are the presents? Because presumably Claus and his wife Anya have been delivering presents to this neighborhood, I guess, for like the last few years or whatever, and it's become a tradition. But yeah, then Uncle Claus and his wife turn up and they bring presents to all these kids. And they're all really shitty. They're just like things that he's just carved out of wood, just random.
There's a bit where he's like, oh, when's he coming? He's never going to make. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
There he is.
And he's brought his 2 reindeer with him. I think those ones are Donna and Blitzen. I've made a note of all the reindeers in this, but yeah, okay. So he gives the wood carvings to the kids. They're like, okay, bye bye. Now again,
he says to the little kids like, oh, what do you say? And then they all shout something incomprehensible.
I think it's
While a
thank
couple of
you, Uncle Claus, but someone also shouted Merry Christmas or something
and a
like that.
couple of the
Yeah.
kids are kind of looking around for their parents off step, just being like, "Am I doing it right?" It's just this gormless children and this old woman talking about the Vendicums. I was like, yeah, bet they do.
Yeah. And then quickly on, they correct them later on. We're elves. We're
Yeah, but
elves.
don't call us Vendicums. That's offensive.
Bendy comes. Did you just make this up, or just what is this? Bendy comes. Yeah. But then against everyone's better judgment, Claus and his wife Anya leave the house and immediately die. Just get caught in a
It's,
snowstorm
it's
and freeze to death. It's fucking
it's
horrible.
exceptionally bleak at the beginning. It's like the origin story of Santa is basically a man dies of exposure, or and all for the satisfaction of his own ego, right? Because when he's going away from like the house on his sled, he's like, "Oh, did you hear their little faces? Did you see how much they love their Uncle Claus?" Like, all right, mate, you're just doing this for yourself, aren't you? You're doing
Yeah.
it for the kids, and you brought your wife along, and now she's dead. Are you happy?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got more upset that the reindeer were dead than those two. But yeah, it was like, oh God. But some people have just said, oh no, they just fell asleep and then they were transported. No, they died. They
No, the rest of this
died.
film is the fever dream of a dying man
Yeah.
who's just stripped naked in the snow and is wandering about babbling insane nonsense about Vendicums
And then died.
and just screaming, "Hello, Joe!" into the middle of the darkness.
Oh, we'll get on to Joe later. He's something
God,
else,
no.
right? But then yeah, Claus and Anya are resurrected and brought to the North Pole, where they're greeted by elves, and apparently they've been waiting them for a long, long time because it's the prophecy that Claus is going to come to them or some shit. Like,
Doesn't make a lick of fucking sense. This bit. I've also written down when the elves turn up. Is that Dave Hedgehog? And
yes,
it
I wrote
is
that.
Dave Hedgehog.
Dave Hedgehog. He doesn't say anything. He just spends the whole movie going like smiling and nodding his head. He hasn't got a single bit of dialogue. Yes, Dave Hedgehog. And Dudley Moore is Patch in the most unfunniest Dudley Moore performance I've ever seen in my life. It looks like he can't be bothered. So why is he in this film?
He's got strong whiff of I can't be asked throughout a lot of this film. I mean, this got very culty vibes when they all turn up. They all surround them and like, "We've waited for you." It's like you think like, are they going to eat them?
Yeah, something then the daggers came out.
Yeah, is that what's going to happen here, or are they all going to commit ritual suicide?
Maybe. And then the elf puns start there. I think they said, "Oh, this is going to be good for our elf help or some shit like that." Oh,
Elf
Jesus.
confidence.
Elf confidence.
Feeling,
That's
right?
it.
It gives me a feeling of elf confidence. That's one
Tick.
tick.
Uh, then,
Where are all the women elves?
that's true. Why are they all
I want to
dudes?
know
The
what
only
all this
woman there is Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, there's all that Vendy coming. Yeah, sitting around dirty old elves.
Oh, and then the elves are very vague about what's going to happen, so there could be some sinister intent. But they say like, "No, come with us." And then suddenly we see the Fortress of Solitude. No, sorry, the elves' toy shop. And then there's a huge part of this beginning bit where they're just having a tour of the toy shop. I thought this is going on forever.
Goes on forever. But also, why have they made all of these toys?
Yeah, because if they've been waiting
what
for it for
purpose?
100 years, because I think eventually the prophecy is Santa's going to get there and start delivering the
Yeah.
toys, so they've just stocked up early. Oh, he's coming one day, don't worry.
And they're like, "Oh, now we can have Christmas." And it's like, "Hold on a minute, those kids before just said Happy Christmas. What's going on?"
Yeah. And
It's
the
almost
first,
like you're just making it up as you go along.
this is all shit. And then yeah, we've said we've met Patch, and he's got ideas to improve everything. He goes, "Oh, this place should have pipes, pipes, cylinder things," and no one's taking any notice of him
It's like,
whatsoever. Pipes.
and you're like, I'm a man from the Middle Ages who's just frozen to death with my inexplicable American accent. I don't know what a pipe is.
And again, this goes back to earlier. Where are they supposed to be at the start? It's because I've read something. Oh, it's meant to be like Norway. It's like fuck, it isn't. So there's people with English accents, American accents.
I mean, Saint Nicholas, the original Saint Nicholas, I think was Turkish.
Yeah,
It's
probably
a very different film, though.
completely. And then that's when Santa sees all these toys. He said, "What am I supposed to do with them?" He's like, "Oh, well, you're going to deliver them to all the girls and boys over the world." He goes, "Oh, well, I'll never have time to do that." He goes, "Oh, but you are immortal." I'm like, "Hang on a minute, this poor bastard.
Yeah,
They're stuck here for eternity, delivering
Well,
toys
I
as
don't
like a
want to.
slave."
yeah. Well, I don't want to do that. Also, they deal with it very well. You're immortal. Oh, all right.
Right.
Oh, cool. We're immortal. Good. All right. That's good then. And you should have all the children of the world. That's too many. Too many children.
Ungrateful
Yeah.
shit as
I just
well.
wanted one.
And then Santa goes for a piss in the middle of the night, which I thought was really funny. I'll be right back. Gets out this bed cupboard thing that he's in with his
Well,
wife.
it's the bed little cupboardy thing they've got. They've got the little peepholes just in the front door, little heart-shaped peepholes. Dirty elves. Coming up the door.
They come everywhere. Oh. Then Patch introduces us to the reindeer. So in addition to Claus's
Get their fucking
reindeer,
life stories.
we've got Dancer, Prancer, Comet, Vixen, Dasher, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. And that pissed me off. I was like, "Where's Rudolph? I thought he was supposed to be the one
Yeah,
at the
they're
front."
saving they're saving it for the sequel.
I'm still waiting for that
You
sequel.
ain't getting a sequel.
No, and we'll get onto that later.
Oh, and he just says at one point of one of the reindeer, he needs a little elf control. That's two.
Oh, what's wrong with him? More Vendicum. Oh dear. But Patch has got ideas for toys to make, like alarm clocks and a plate when it's too hot, it whistles. I'm like, all right, that's something every kid wants. And then,
I mean, none of these toys are anything kids want.
oh, fucking,
Maybe in there, in the Middle Ages.
yeah, that's what the toys do not change from the Middle Ages to the 1980s. People are like, where's my Game Boy? What the fuck is this?
What a PS5, but no. What I've got is a small wooden elf.
Oh, gee, thanks. Anyway,
That's
we'll
what
get
it
to
says.
that. And then Patch is very coy about all this. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do? He goes, oh, you'll see. Why don't you just tell him?
Just tell him. Why are you not telling him?
Yeah, what's all this about?
Surely, the more he knows now, the more prepared he can be, and the better it'll go.
Indeed. Oh, and then we get an extended shot again of all the elves making toys, and they work in shifts, so it looks like they share
fucking
beds because their names switch around. Someone gets out of bed, like, do you know how unhygienic that is? Someone could have
Yeah.
like farted in that bed or pissed it or whatever, and then someone else has got to
They
get in
just
it.
come all over it.
They come everywhere. Oh god! But yeah, they're all like going along, like, all happy, assembling toys, dancing
Goes-
around, having a
goes on
lovely
a bit.
time. It does go on a
dancing
bit.
around like a bunch of knobs. Any chance they get,
Any
just
chance,
having a little dance. I mean,
yeah, we don't have
why
much
are
of a plot. Should we just draw this out with a lot of dancing?
if they're all immortal, why are they all different ages?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they all the same as Santa. They died and got transported to this place.
Yeah, just slaves to some great elder god.
So, are you sure this isn't hell? This is Santa's version of hell. Then they're deciding Santa's new gear, and at the moment it's green, and then she wants it to be red. Now I blame Coca-Cola for this because apparently the original Santa wore a green outfit, and Coca-Cola had the jolly old fat man wearing red stuff.
It's not quite Coca-Cola. So there was it was a popular artist at the time whose name escapes me, created the Red Look Santa, and then Coca-Cola co-opted it for their branding. So it's sort of not quite all, but they popularized it certainly.
Got ya. Then, amongst all the dancing and toy making, we get a Superman-looking light in the sky, and then the hatch opens and it begins snowing, and then they all start dancing some more.
Yeah, it does a bit more dance, the same bloody piece of music over and over again.
Keep getting more shots of Dave Hedgehog like dancing around them.
I was in the Young Ones.
Or Dave Hedgehog.
It's got a good cross section of people from British comedies. You got Dave Hedgehog, and then you've got a couple of people from Ain't Half Hot Mum. So you've got Chris. It was Melvin Hayes and Don Estelle from Ain't and a Half Hot Mum are in it. And it's just these two people from very different parts of British comedy are kind of like butting up against each other.
It makes sense. It was all filmed at Pinewood Studios. Oh, and Mrs. Claus Anya was in Keeping Up Appearances as well.
Anyone 5'1" or below was considered for a role.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something that might be your Smith trivia, so I won't say anything. Right. So now Santa's now in his outfit looking like a boss, and it's his first night on the job. The reindeer have all been prepped and they're ready to go. And then suddenly, Burgess Meredith turns up for some reason.
No, Mickey. Get up, Shadow, you bum! The penguin is here.
They're all carrying his beard for some reason. Why are you doing this?
I mean, Burgess Meredith in this looks very, very old. He looks very, very, very old.
Yeah, because by this point he'd been killed off in Rocky because he was very, very old, and then he probably just his last couple of roles before he went, and then he starts going on about some ancient prophecy, blah 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 blah, blah how there was a guy to come here and deliver toys, and now you should be called Santa Claus. But why?
Why?
Why can't you be Claus?
But he also, like, none of this has been explained to him before. The prophecy came to pass probably about a year ago. He's been there a while, and you've not bothered to sit him down and just kind of go through all of this admin. You're waiting until he's literally about to go out. It's like, right, you just go there, and you don't have any choice. And off you pop. Oh, by the way, you got time travel. You got that, and flight. Right, like you're a good X-Men.
Yeah, there's no lessons or anything. He just, as you just says, oh yeah, time travels with you, and then off you go, and then they feed the reindeer some hay with some shitty animation sprinkled into them. And they all eat them, and off they go to fly.
Bit of crystal meth for the reindeer, and off they out into the night.
Oh, so then Santa flies off with his reindeer with some very Superman-looking effects, very suspicious. And at this point, we start getting a montage of centuries passing with Santa delivering exactly the same toys over like 500 years or whatever. Oh god! And at this point during the montage, we see the introduction of letters to Santa. So kids are writing letters to Santa. They put them by the fireplace. For some reason, they get sucked up the chimney and transported to North Pole. But then it doesn't matter. They're sending letters to, oh yeah, can I have a Barbie doll? Can I have a Game Boy? They're just going to be sent that wooden shit they get to make. It's what
Rocking
they're
horse.
asking. Yeah.
Rocking horse, rocking horse, rocking horse, rocking horse.
And this bit made me
Nutcracker.
laugh. This is bit when this horrible little bastard is committing animal cruelty to some cat. He's like strangling it or something. And then his sister grasses him up to Santa and goes, "Here, guess what my brother did?"
That cat looks well unhappy.
But they
Probably
couldn't
like
use a puppy. He really was sort of throttling it or whatever. And then at this point, this is where Mrs. Claus like, he shouldn't get a present. And then Santa's like, oh, I have an idea. We should have a list of everyone who's naughty and nice. No, I'm going to be checking it twice.
he bends really quickly. He's like, "Oh no, all children should have a present." He's like, "Oh, go on." He's like, "Well, all right then." I know who wears the trousers around here. Also, you see this bit that made me laugh when he kind of cut there, and he's making dinner. Except he appears to just be brushing a carrot. He's not doing anything with it. He's just running something over it. So what are you doing?
We'll get to it in a bit, but yeah, then he's eating carrots again. So I wonder if it's just the same bit of footage which went straight to the next scene. So yeah, Santa's been eating cookies because that's now become a tradition for people to leave cookies out for him, which is weird because when I was a kid growing up, my dad told me that Santa liked beer and crisps and like those being left out.
Yeah, my dad said he liked kebab and a pint. I don't know.
Box of Benson Edges.
Yeah.
But yeah, then one of the elves starts reading the classic poem towards the night before Christmas. And then Santa gets all offended when he's fat shamed because there's a bit in there when he says having a belly that shakes like a big bowl of jelly. And he's like,
Also,
"Aw."
it says a little round belly. It doesn't say morbidly obese.
Yeah, you are going to die. No, wait, you already are dead.
Type 2 diabetes. It's also, he's not markedly fatter than he was at the beginning.
No, because
He
the
looks
next scene,
exactly the same.
Mrs. Claus puts him on a diet and he's eating like that carrot you were talking about, and a bit of celery. But for the rest of the film, he's still the same size.
Is
He's
he
neither
like,
put on weight nor lost it.
I assume being immortal, he can't lose weight or put on weight. It's got to be, right? He can't, because if you're immortal, you just don't change. Otherwise, you just get progressively fatter.
Exactly. But no, whatever. He's put on this diet which doesn't do anything. And now we're in the 20th century or present day, which is what, 1985 New York. And it's the same shit toys. There's montage of kids opening same crappy toys instead of opening the 1980s toys that you described earlier on. At this point, go on.
What a transformer! What did you get? Fucking rocket horse.
Again,
every year. Every
every
rocket horse.
fucking year.
Primary colours. It's awful.
And at this point, Santa's getting really tired and he needs help going forward, so he needs an assistant. So at this point, we get like Patch has conveniently made this snow globe that when he turns upside down, it looks so nice, it dissolves into New York. And that's predominantly where the rest of the film is now going to take place.
Oh, this is actually just like even this one. We had, in that previous scene, we just had I don't lack elf assurance. That's 3.
I gave up counting. So I'm glad you kept track of them.
Motherfucker them all.
God, you done right, and then we see a drunken Santa on the side of the road, like ringing a bell and collecting money, and then he's pocketing the money and drinking booze at the same time. I was like, yeah, that's the Santa I'm used to. Then,
that's the one who looks suspiciously like my dad.
the one who liked crisp and beer. And yeah, then we meet Joe at this point. I'm like, right, okay. So is Joe supposed to be a homeless orphan, or is he from the orphanage, or is he from like a workhouse, or a children's home?
I think he's a ragamuffin.
Right, he's a ragamuffin because he doesn't look any different. Like from year to year, he's still wearing the same shitty clothes and doesn't age. But yeah,
it doesn't get any older. That is the problem with this film. Is like you can only have it really take place over 12 months, otherwise you're going to run into real problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And then yeah, Joe's like trying to keep warm, and he's ashamed of that Santa that's across the road. They're getting drunk and all that sort of thing. And then at this point, we meet Cornelia. So she's a rich girl who looks at him across. Oh my god, horrible name, horrible haircut. Just dreadful. And yeah, she's a rich girl. She's watching from her window, and she's got a really awful nanny who's looking after her. And a big, all encouraging and supportive. She's like, "Get back to doing your own work, otherwise your step uncle will be angry." It's like, "No, what is a step uncle? Please, someone explain to me the logistics of a step uncle."
It's removed enough that we don't mind when he comes to an unfortunate end.
Yeah, exactly. He's a shit. Yeah, and then what happens? Yeah, then Patch is really desperate to be the assistant that Santa needs, and he's going to prove his worth. And who's the other one? Puffy, I think, is the other one, the other elf that
Yeah,
wants to be his
that's
assistant.
Melvin Hayes.
Melvin Hayes. Yeah. So yeah, Patch devises this machine that's just going to churn toys out at some alarming rate, but because he's doing that, the
Welcome
toys
to
are all
the
shoddy.
20th century. We're still making bollocks, well, wooden bollocks.
Just
So
a
a lot
lot
of 20th
quicker.
century. Also, that machine wouldn't work at all.
No, no. Awful. It's called Patch's Toys. So they're competing to prove their worth, and Patch's Toys are rubbish. And then Patch gets the job, even though he's a shoddy worksman. And then we get our first bit of product placement. Oh, look, lovely McDonald's.
I said, cut to a McDonald's ad.
It's essentially what it is. And it's all shots of these peeling burgers. Like, oh, yeah, amazing,
No, but
wonderful.
it's the thing is, everybody's eating something different. Like someone's eating fries, someone's eating a burger, someone's eating McNuggets. They're like, oh, look at all of the stuff. And also, the woman eating fries in it is eating fries in the weirdest way I have ever seen anyone eat fries. She's like shoveling them into her mouth two-handed. You're going,
But she's never eaten before.
Yeah, so she's like unhinged her jaw and is just scramming chips into her face.
I don't know. Don't you ever get like that when you've been out the piss and you're hungry?
This is true, yeah. But mine is more like a fistful. I just like
Fistful of fries. Oh, then we get Joe looking through the window, looking really hungry, but that's fine.
dirty people licking his lips.
Licking the window. And then we get cut back to Cornelia's house, and the nanny's being horrible again. She's like, "Oh, eat your dinner, or your step uncle's going to find out, or some shit." But they
learn your Latin verbs.
Oh, that was
We're
it.
rich.
Yeah.
We're rich.
Everyone must know Latin. And then Cornelia makes Joe a plate of food because again he's looking through the window like some sort of pervert at her.
He needs dirty paper. I kind of get the feeling with these kids in it. Something about the plot line suggests they probably should have been about 4 or 5 years older than they are. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, because there's a bit later on, Joe goes, "We've been seeing a lot of each other, actually." I was like, "Aren't you like 10?
What are you
You're
doing?
like 15, that might have been all right." But Cornelia
She calls him. She goes, "Psst, hey, boy. Boy, come here."
like great expectations, just puts his food down on the floor and then shuts the door. Bitch.
With a can of product placement.
With a yeah, I put down. She's made him a plate of food with a nice big can of product placement Coca-Cola to wash it down with. He's like, but he drinks it.
He takes it and runs off. He's like, oh, I'm going to go and eat my food by this bin. Sits by a bin. It's what are you doing? Eat somewhere else, you idiot.
Oh, God.
No, I can't eat unless I have the smell of bins in my nostrils.
Exactly. Oh, he's used to it. He probably sleeps in it. Right.
I was going to grouch.
Anyway, come on. Then we get to a scene where it's Christmas Eve again and Santa's delivering presents to New York. Would you believe it?
Well.
And then just coincidentally, Santa's going on about, oh, no boy should be unhappy on Christmas Eve. Oh, look, there's a boy unhappy down there on Christmas Eve.
What's this? Homelessness? Well, I'd never. Where have you been?
Oh, he's dead. He's home utopia.
He's like, no child should ever be unhappy during Christmas. Like, mate, you were alive during the Irish potato famine. You know that's not true.
You were delivering kids shit toys in the snow and you died in the snow. That's quite unhappy.
Everyone's unhappy. Most people are unhappy. If anything, one boy being slightly homeless is probably not the end of the world.
Exactly. And then, yeah, Santa spots Joe. He goes down to him, and Joe's been like, "Hey, what are you doing? You guys, hey, beat it!"
That kid cannot act. That kid is awful.
No,
he's awful.
They're both terrible. Cornelia and Joe are both terrible. And then Santa's like, "Oh, well, come with me." And then he shows him where his sleigh is.
Well, he teleports him up to the roof, and Joe's like, "All right, yeah,
yeah, he's perfectly right with it."
Fine, yeah.
And he's like, "Have you ever been on a sleigh before?" He's like, "I've never been on a plane before." And I was expecting him to be like, "You ever seen a grown man naked?" Instantly, I just thought the airplane joke. But Joe's absolutely accepted this. Oh, you're the real Santa. It's all true. Oh, yeah, I'd love to go on this sleigh. Yeah, what a wonderful opportunity. Cool. And then off they go.
Fudge Merritt was talking absolute bullshit. But he's like, oh, time travels with you. No, it doesn't. Time is clearly passing.
Yeah,
He
so does
spent
that
10 minutes talking to this kid in New York.
mean that Joe hasn't aged for the last 10 minutes or something because he's been absorbed as part of this time travel? Oh,
Maybe that's why Joe doesn't get any older.
yes.
It's
There
not
you
a plot hole.
go.
It's very cleverly written.
There you go. Smart. That was well smart. All right. So yeah, Santa takes Joe on a magical adventure to deliver presents with him, and they attempt, for plot reasons, the super duper looper, which is essentially
I'm
just doing
sure
a
that,
360 loop in
sure
space.
that won't come back at any point during the end of the film.
No, no. I mean, he was like, "Oh, we didn't get it. Maybe we'll get it another time." Hmm.
I'm sure no situation will arise when using this particular move will come in handy, although actually will be entirely impractical.
Exactly. And then it was because, I don't know, Donna couldn't quite do it or some shit. So what about all the other reindeer? Why are you just putting all the blame on him?
Donna the prick.
Oh,
There's a
lazy
reason no one
arsehole.
likes him. Look at him up
Oh,
there. He thinks he's the shit. But he's not.
Donna. Then Santa
Make him a
lets Joe.
kebab.
Yeah, that's what my wife said. She went, Donna, I like the kebab. Yes, yes, exactly like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's how he ends up.
And then Santa lets Joe take the reins and say, which is completely irresponsible. So you can kill them both. He's just said he's never even done a plane before.
Yeah, exactly. Let alone.
Oh, and then he starts saying, like, oh, if you write him a letter and bring you a present. And then Joe was like, oh, I never believed. And Santa was like, oh, but I'm sure Joe's going to believe in Santa now.
Well, he's met him. It'd be hard pressed not to, unless again it is some sort of crystal meth bender.
It could be that it's just one man in the woods
So,
in the
I like
way.
the beginning. I like the beginning where he first met Joe, and he was like, "Oh, it's like was it a horse and buggy?" It's like, what year do you think it is?
Or
You don't
time
know
stand
what a horse
still.
and
He's
buggy
got no
is.
idea.
Yeah.
That's why he keeps delivering shit presents because he's not keeping with the times. Then they conveniently go to Cornelia's house. How convenient of all the houses they're going to deliver to.
She wakes up immediately.
Yeah. It's not like they'll make the load of racket downstairs. They're being quite quiet. Yeah,
Smell Joe.
probably. Smelly Joe.
Smelly Joe.
Henceforth, he should be Smelly Joe.
Smelly Joe the ragamuffin.
Well, if Claus has got to be called Santa Claus, it's his helper, Smelly Joe. Oh, dear.
Less offensive than Black Pete.
True. Very. Moving on.
Yeah, move swiftly.
So Cornelia finds her, and they all introduce themselves, and then Santa says, "Oh, I'll just leave you here then." Why?
Santa third wheeling it.
You're gonna get you arrested.
He's just like, hello, I'm also here. I'm Santa. He's like, no, we're talking.
Yeah, and then he gets out of here and touches his nose, which apparently makes you disappear up the chimney or some shit.
It's when Joe says, "What a guy!"
Yeah. So much terrible dialogue in this. Oh god. Oh no, but before he goes, he did say that he'll promise to see Joe next year at Christmas. He's like, "Oh, you mean it?" And he was like, "Santa doesn't lie." I mean, he might.
But don't tell your parents.
That's lying. Oh dear. Right, then what happens? Oh yeah, at this point we get the shot of it's post Christmas. I know it must be Boxing Day on the 27th, but all the kids' toys are all like falling apart in the street. And then one kid loses control of like his little tray pulley thing that he's pulling along. And then he goes on a road and a bus runs it over.
The funniest one for me was when the little girl came off her bike and the dad just boots it into the street.
Ugh, these shoddy toys. Oh my god. And it's all convenient that about 5 or 6 children all at once at the same era's toys all fell apart at the same time.
It's all the toys that have mysteriously appeared under the. I never understand this in films where Santa really exists. What do the adults think is going on? Like, where are these wooden toys? Like, you'd remember buying something that crap because it's the kind of thing you'd get at like a gas station at midnight the night before you got shut in by the kids. Something. Oh, look, a wooden toy.
Some Ferrero Rocher.
and a hair freshener shaped like a Christmas tree.
The thing is, as well, like I've never understood this. Is Santa the one supposed to deliver presents? Because my parents used to feed us the bullshit of, "Oh, we get you presents, but Santa also does, and you get like 2 lots of presents." Like,
You get like one. You get one that's like from Santa, which in this universe would work. Except then when people say they don't believe in Santa, was like, where do you think that came from? That shoddy toy that fell apart. Where did it come from?
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
No sense. And then straight after those shitty toys have been destroyed, we cut to immediately some bullies beating up Joe. This is my son.
It's like, no, he's a lovely man. It's like, shut up.
How did this even
Smelly
happen?
Joe.
Did Smelly Joe go around telling everyone that Santa's my mate, and when they got shitty presents, they're like, right, they just want to beat him? Makes no
Ah,
sense. And the same thing happens to Cornelia. She's a ballerina practice because why wouldn't she? She's rich. And then some girls start giving her shit, and then Cornelia slaps one on the arm because I guess she couldn't smack her around the face.
well, it's because that little girl's like, you haven't got any parents. It's like, well, that's
Oh,
that's pretty
oh.
rough.
This has escalated from shit toys to you haven't got any parents. This is horrible. Apparently,
I mean,
one
the
of those.
reason why she doesn't have any. Sorry, go on.
No, no, you go first.
I said the reason she doesn't have any parents, and neither does Joe, is because at the end it makes the kidnapping that occurs far less
Oh,
objectionable.
God. Yeah, that was a questionable ending, wasn't it? But yeah, I was going to say one of those girl bullies at the ballerina school is apparently Daphne, the wrestler from TNA and WCW. So could be
Oh,
bullshit.
really?
That's just what I read. Yeah, apparently it's her.
Oh, I'll have a look at that. I don't know.
There you go. So then people start sending their toys back to Santa. I'm like, how? Are they just putting them by their fireplace like they do the letters? Because then suddenly there's an influx of broken toys that are flying back to the North Pole. And Santa's like, oh, good gracious, this has never happened. Oh, maybe we should send a statement out. Send a statement out.
What are we talking about?
You're not toy shop.
Just get the old elf to come along. Early on, he was like, "Oh, everyone in the sound of my voice, plus everyone on Earth, understands this." It's like, well, then just get him to say that. Just get him to say something. Oi, Burgess, come here.
Exactly.
Well, there was
But then,
time now.
but yeah, the shit toys come in abundance. Patch is ashamed that his toys are shit, so he steps down as an assistant, and then it goes to Puffy, I believe. And then yeah, you just see Patch being all upset, saying goodbye to the reindeer. The reindeer, by the way, look pretty cool for animatronic reindeer. They don't look too bad.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine for the time.
Well, but this reindeer like cries as Patch like hugs him and says goodbye, and then you see.
I mean, he
Patch,
says goodbye for like 5 solid minutes. It's like, Jesus Christ, government.
oh, holding on to it.
Somewhere Peter Cook's rolling in his grave.
Peter Cook hadn't died by this point. He was like 95, I think.
Yeah, he just likes to sleep in a grave.
He did like to drink that, man.
Yeah. When you're that drunk, you just sleep where you can.
Exactly. Then we get a shot of Patch leaving the Fortress of Solitude with his napskin on a stick and just walking along looking all sad. Oh, Santa doesn't like me anymore. Oh.
Just walks out into the world to die of exposure.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, die of exposure. How are you walking out the Fortress of Solitude? How does that send you to New York? Don't explain that whatsoever. Or did he just eat a load of pixie dust and just flew there or something? I don't know. Then, finally, after 1 hour and 1 minute, we finally see John Lithgow. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Somebody
The film takes off.
Literally.
Seriously, if you could just cut his scenes together and just watch that, he is fucking brilliant in this film.
Yeah, he's having a whale of a time, which is weird because apparently he was ashamed of this role. But yeah, he looks like he's having a whale of a time. So his name is BZ, and he's a toy guru giant. I know he owns his own factory and stuff, but it looks like he's being sued by the district attorneys for making really dangerous toys. But this is making sense because one of them demonstrates how flammable this doll is. He puts a cigarette out to it. It's like, well, most things set on fire when you put a cigarette next to it.
Putting a cigarette on it. It's like, look, if I put this cigarette on my child, it hurts them.
The moral of the story is don't smoke, but he does make some sort of, oh, I said cigarette smoke was bad for your health. And then there's a panda, they rip the end of it, there's a load of broken glass and nails in it. How did they even get in there? Really, really shoddy workmanship. And then, yeah, he gets told.
This is the point where it becomes a completely different film. Like it just becomes, like it's just tonally so different from everything that's gone before. Up to this point, it's been kind of boring and straight-faced and a bit dour and a bit, oh God, get on with it, a bit saccharine, just a bit, yeah. And this suddenly it's just a comedy now.
Yeah, completely. And then Santa
only for the scenes he's in, and then whiplash to Santa, and it's all sad.
But that's just it, because by this point, Santa takes a back seat now, and he's not really the focus anymore. It's more about Joe, Cornelia, and BZ. Oh, and Patch. And yeah, Santa's just in the back, and he's like, no one cares about Christmas anymore. Whatever.
At what point did anyone say that?
Shut up, Santa.
He gets really depressed for no reason. He's like, oh, I don't have any friends. Like, you got all those elves.
Yeah. And all those shitty toys that got sent back, it was Patch's fault. So why are you taking it personally?
Your fault.
God. But yeah, BZ's told, because he's got dangerous toys, he needs to pull all these toys off the shelves. Now, conveniently, Patch has shown up in New York, because why not? And happens to stand outside the BZ toy shop and mistakes all the toys being taken off the shelf as, oh, these are really popular toys. They're really selling. So I want to get in on this as well. And then, yeah, I think that's the shot where BZ goes in his office and we have all the hilarity of Patch being like, oh, I'm an elf. Now I'm over here. Now I'm over here.
Here we get. Isn't it self-explanatory? 4. Heaven helps those who help their elf. 5, and entirely elf taught. 6. 3 in one scene. Also, there's a bit where John Lithgow goes to him, "Hey, Junior." It's like, he is markedly older than you.
I'm nearly 60 at this point. Oh dear. And then during all that, Patch suggested, look, I've got an idea that, I could bring a new toy to you and it'll bring happiness to children, that sort of thing. And he uses the lines, if you give extra kisses, you get extra hugs. I'm like, okay.
Was it if you give the best kisses, you get extra hugs?
I
Something
mean,
like that. And so is that what Mrs. Claus has been telling you? Maybe that's where all the vending coming's going on. Mrs. Claus and all those randy little vending comes.
Oh dear, Mrs. Claus.
She's having a great time.
She is. And then at first, Patch suggests, "Oh no, we're just going to give this new idea that I've got for free," and he's like, "For free!" It's funny. But then he realizes as well, if he does do something like that, it's a marketing ploy. It'll repair his reputation, and then they can make money off it in the future. So
this is sorry. The bit where he has this brilliant line really was, "What do you mean you don't believe in Santa Claus?" "Well, never bought me anything." "Well, maybe you're on the naughty list." "Well, well, I was no angel." Yeah.
So many scenes of him just doing an evil laugh. And then Patch comes up with an idea to make a lollipop that will make you float. Not a toy. Not a toy.
Not a toy in any by any use of the definition. Not a toy.
And it all gets very confusing for me because I'm like, hang on, you're creating this lollipop which you're going to deliver yourself for free to be under kids' Christmas trees in the morning, but then people are going to want more of that, and then they go out and buy it because then BC later on starts going, "Oh, the money we're printing it, oh, there's millions coming in." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so how are you making money if you get it for free?" It's never really explained, but I presume it was that.
No, it is. No, it is. It's they give the first one for free, and then it's a bit like crack. You give the first bit for free. Then in 3 months at Christmas too, you present a new one you make people pay for.
No, but before Christmas too, they're even talking about how they've made loads of money. I don't know whether then.
Yeah, because the orders will be coming in pre-orders.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine.
Yeah. It's basic business.
Yeah. I was never good at business. Business. So this
business.
Stop. This lollipop is called the Puce for something, and then it's like, oh, we can make a liquid one like called Puce juice. That sounds horrible. I
don't want to take that. Puce. The color is Puce.
Oh, okay. I thought
Puce is a color. It's a shade of pink.
Oh, well, then
I like Puce. You would.
Yeah, and then at this point we cut to Santa's carving Joe a present, and the wooden carving of Patch, and he's like, he's never had a present, and he's making it. He's like, I'm pretty sure he'd prefer a BMX bike or something like that. Why does he want this shitty wooden ornament?
Where's he going to put it? He hasn't got a house. He's got to carry this big lump of wood around with him in his jacket.
Or if someone starts on him in New York, he just clobber him with it. Then we get Patches on TV advertising the free lollipop with sexy women elves dancing around. And I don't know whether it's supposed to be because he's an inexperienced actor or what, or he's just going, yes, buy this, it's free, you'll find it under your tree. Or is this just Dudley Moore? Can't be asked.
Dudley Moore can't be asked. I'm regretting making this.
Funny. And then we're told that the step uncle of Cornelia is here. And would you believe it? It's BZ.
Quack Doom, which is slightly ruined by the fact that you hear his voice before he turns around in the chair, and it's clearly John Lithgow going, "Come in, mother."
And if you look carefully throughout Cornelia's houses, there are a few framed photos of BZ. So if you were paying attention, you'd have spotted that earlier. But yes, you're right. That was a shit reveal.
And he literally just does an evil laugh for no reason. He just goes, "Brr!"
Did something sinister happen after that or what? You didn't do your homework, did you? And then what happens? Santa sees that advert on TV because apparently they got tellies now at the North Pole, and he's all sad about it. I'm like, well, what are you sad about? That you've got competition or you've lost your mate? Like, what's the problem?
He's like, oh, somebody else is making toys. That's been happening for a while, mate.
Yeah, have you ever been to Toys R Us?
Wait till you see the Teddy Ruxpin, the fucker talks.
That toy was boss.
I've got an old grandpa bear. This is an old Teddy Ruxpin.
If you're watching on video, Smith showing a teddy bear right now. Oh, there you go.
I'm a grown man.
You still sleep with it. Oh, then Patch has had the Patchmobile made and flies off to deliver the free lollipops. Very Thunderbird style, I found, like a ram, but it zooms out and flies away.
How does he deliver them all in one night?
Yeah.
I don't fly with them.
That's true. That or maybe it's only the New York kids who get the free lollipop. I don't know. No, no, I think he just said, oh no, because he wanted to advertise on every TV channel across the world. So yeah, that was his grand plan to deliver all the lollipops to all over the world.
I did look up the line that the old elf says to Santa at the beginning, and it's the night of the world is a passage of endless night for you. That's really dark.
Yeah, considering he just died earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Recurring nightmare. Then what happens? Yeah, then it's Christmas Eve again. And Santa's delivering the presents at the same time that Patch is delivering those lollipops. Sees Joe like, "Hey, yeah, how's it going, you guys?" And then Joe's like, "Yeah, I'm your pal for life." Like, what?
He's used guys.
Then Santa gives Joe that shitty wooden carve, and he loves it. He's like, "Ah, gee, thanks, excellent."
I mean, you're giving him more of a performance than he did. His exact line really was, "Gee, thanks."
Excellent.
I don't fucking want it.
Oh, you're just being polite. Joe says that him and Cornelia have been seeing a lot of each other, which is a bit weird. And then they fly, they fly away on the sleigh.
And when he says that, what he means is he's been peeping through her window more.
And she's been giving him tidbits of food every now and again.
And she's taken out a restraining order.
Oh, and then
Cornelia's... You can't serve it if you can't find me.
I mean, it's true. Then it's Christmas morning. Cornelia's playing around with the piano that Santa gave her, and she's not interested in a free lollipop. So the nanny eats it and then starts flying around.
Proper fucking piano.
Exactly. We should do that crappy little thing for. But the nanny eats the lollipop, starts floating around like, whoa!
I said it's like Mary Poppins with more sex noises. Also, she's like, "Oh, do you want the lolly?" And she's like, "No, I don't." It's like, why not?
Yeah, that's never really explained. She because she probably knows it came from her uncle's an arse. So yeah.
But then she laughs at her nanny floating around. I was like, you wouldn't laugh at that. You'd lose your shit. If someone just started flying in front of you, you'd lose your mind.
Stop throwing holy water and crosses at them.
Also, they have the ugliest fucking Christmas tree. I don't know what that thing was decorated with.
It's enormous.
It's covered in like cobwebs all over it.
It's enormous. Then we get shots of kids flying around after eating their lollies. There's one's playing basketball. There's a little shit stealing from the cookie jar. There's a girl walking along with a very young kid going, "You're cute." I'm like, wait, what? Are you his babysitter? What? This is weird. Then we get a press conference for BZ Toys, and he wants to create Christmas 2 on the 25th of March. But Patch is like, "No, I just want to go home. Like, Santa likes me now." I was like, "How do you know that?"
At this point, he says, "It's self-explanatory that you've already said that joke."
And it wasn't
like 3 scenes ago. It wasn't funny then, and that's the seventh one. Seventh.
And I said as well, Christmas 2. What do you mean Easter?
Yeah. Also, Christmas 2. Why'd you have it in March? You'd have it in June.
Yeah, exactly. And there was, I'm presuming we could do Christmas 3 in June, Christmas 4 in September, or I don't know, whatever.
Christmas classic.
Yeah. This time BZ wants to create a super candy cane that's more powerful than lollipops. Like, oh, you're asking for trouble. And then we just get more shots of Santa being all dejected that nobody cares about Christmas anymore. Like, where are you getting this from? You senile old dickhead.
Well, it doesn't revolve around you, mate.
You shitty wooden toys.
Fucking March. No one cares about you.
He's like, "Oh, this BZ's a smart fella. Well, I owe him some credit." Well, yeah, he's a businessman. Like, you're not. You're an idiot who gets toys away for free.
Maybe I'm just an old fool. And Mrs. Claus goes, just nods at him. Like, I think you maybe should have had a line there. She says no in there, not just gentle nodding in agreement of like, "Yes, you are an old fool, a dead old fool in a snow ditch in the Middle Ages."
Oh, bleak. Then we get Joe goes to see Cornelia in the rain for some reason, and she puts him in the basement for some reason. She goes, "Oh, you'll be all right down there." Like, he's sick. Why are you putting him in the basement?
There's a bit which says there's a room in the basement, by which she means the basement. Also, I thought when she said, "Oh, I saw when she's in a room in the basement." He gets down there, and it's just like a tiled room with a chair nailed to the floor in the middle, and then she clobbers him from behind. Turns out she's like a prolific serial killer of young street boys.
And nobody saw Smelly Joe ever again. Oh, then we get Patches creating candy canes, but he's really not happy about it. He's like, this bit made no sense. Back at the North Pole, one of the elves brings Santa a doll that pisses itself, and he's just kind of not impressed. Like, hang on, did the elves create that, or did they get like a sample of something they're selling in the real world and brought it here? But whatever, Santa's like, "Take it away, I'm not impressed."
It says it wets, and it's like, that's a disgusting way of putting it for a start. It's made me feel kind of gross. And secondly, it's made of cloth, so no, it doesn't.
No.
No, that's no way that would work. It's just a wet doll. You've got a wet, piss-soaked doll, you're expecting Santa to give to children.
Oh, although my wife was saying those toys
Absolute puffy.
were yeah, fuck off, Puffy. No, my wife was telling me those dolls were very popular when they were kids. Like,
What, ones
oh,
that
you,
piss themselves? Yeah, my
yeah.
sister had one.
Why
My
would
sister
you
had one,
want that?
but it's made of plastic.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
Put
made
water
of
in the back and
cotton.
then it wets it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. How is this possible? Then what happens? Then we get BZ's assistant Towser comes to Cornelia's house where BZ's currently staying, and then this is when BZ starts announcing about his evil plan to take over Christmas. But what? When you're going to take over Christmas and
What does that even
eliminate
mean?
Santa? I was like, since when was Santa a threat to you? What is what's all about? Santa's a non-profit organisation. And then for some reason, Cornelia, Joe, and eavesdrop in, and then Joe gets kidnapped and taken away. Oh, what?
It's like, put this kid on ice. It's like, that means kill. Don't kill the kid.
Put a bullet in his head and put him in the freezer. Then Towser warns BZ about the dangers of the candy because apparently they explode next to heat. So presumably when it's at the North Pole, it's fine. But when they're next to radiators or whatever, they'll blow up. And then BZ doesn't care at all because he's getting millions of dollars. And this is the bit when he's telling him, going, damn it, man, stop making me say short sentences and make me say, like a moron. And then Towser replies with,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that bit was actually really funny.
More product placement.
Yeah, with perhaps Blue Ribbon beer that they were drinking. I was like, oh yeah, that's a nice beer actually. So that's our third product placement.
Piss.
I like it. Yeah, but then once they reveal that those candy canes are going to blow up, then he's such an evil bastard. He's like, "It's fine. We'll go to Brazil. We'll have millions of dollars." And then let Patch take the fall. Like, oh, you really are an evil shit. You've gone from just being greedy to being an absolute monster. Oh Christ! And then at this point, Cornelia's heard all of this, even though Joe's been kidnapped. She writes a letter to Santa before calling the cops.
Santa will help.
And then she sent Santa saying, "Oh, Joe's been kidnapped." And then that's when Santa receives the letter, and it's up to him to save the day. But he's only got 2 less reindeer. Oh no, because the other 2 reindeer are sick. However, would he do it with 6 reindeer?
As it turns out, not a problem.
Not really a problem at all.
It's just fine. Everything works.
Yeah. Then Patch finds Joe held hostage in the factory because that's where putting him on ice apparently was, just putting him where someone could find him. And then we have this whole hoo-ha about, "You're not Santa's best friend, I am. And then he sees that wooden thing that Santa made Joe.
Which
Just,
Joe's carrying in his big pocket.
As you would. Instead of
where
clobbering
that's
the guy who
about.
tried to kidnap him with it, but yeah. And then
It looks like ways of turning your brain someone with it.
and Patch is like, "Oh, he really does like me. Why? Because this wooden statue vaguely resembles you."
Well, as he refers to it, it's my elf portrait. That's 8.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it's the last one. That is the last one, but good lord, none of them are funny.
He does enough.
He doesn't know.
Santa arrives at Cornelia's house, but it's too late. Joe and Patch are already in the Patchmobile. They're flying back to the North Pole. Oh no, their car might explode. It's terrible. Then we get a shot of Santa giving chase to Patrick. Yeah, yeah, you know. And then it's great. The cops arrive at BC's. It's his office, isn't it? It's not Cornelia's house. It's at his office.
Yeah.
And then he realizes he's done for, so he just eats a load of those candy canes and jumps out the window before going like. And then he jumps out the window and just floats away. I'm like, shit, where's he going?
I think he's in this film for a solid 10 minutes.
But he makes it work.
Combined screen time.
Yeah.
Even him and Heath Ledger's Joker have the most impact on the film in such a short period of time.
Yeah, but no Oscar for John Lithgow for this. At which point then the Patchmobile explodes, but then that's fine because now they're going to try out the super duper looper from earlier. And would you believe it? They managed to do it, and they managed to catch Joe and Patch right time. Why they couldn't just fly underneath the regular? Why did they have to do the super duper looper?
Oh, it's the super duper looper. It's the only way. And it's like it's not the only way because what you have to do is go past them, to go over and back on yourself, away from them again, to come back under them slightly later than you already were directly under them. So if anything, you're just showboating, you fat prick. It's not the only way. There are other ways. Also, when the car explodes, they fly apart from each other and then back together again. Don't really loose grasp of physics.
That's fine. That magic pixie does shit. Yeah, get caught by Santa. It's all fine, and then they go back to the North Pole, and then for some reason, Cornelia and Joe were just like, "Hey, how about we just live here?" And Santa's like, "Oh, okay, why not?" And then the elves just start dancing around and shit.
Let's all have a dance like a bunch of knobs.
I was like, "Hang on a minute, isn't Cornelia's nanny going to notice that she's gone missing? No one cares about Smelly Joe, so that's fine, right? But what about
Smelly Joe.
Cornelia?"
She'll be on the side of milk cartons for the next year until she turns back up again, and she'll be like, "Oh, I was living with Santa for a year," and that's her in an institution.
Exactly. And what are they going to make her do there? She's going to have to be like the elves, like slaves, like making toys. They're not just going to let her sit around watching that shit looking telly that they've got. They'll put her to good work. Oh, and then the final shot we get is BZ floating up into space, not suffocated, mind. Just like, oh no, someone get me down! And just floats away.
He's dead.
He's dead. And then, yeah, credits. And then it's Christmas song. And that was
awful, that song as well. That song is awful.
Yeah, it really gets on your nerves.
Oh, didn't it just?
So yeah, that was Santa Claus the movie. So right then, let's rewind back. You said you watched it many times as a 5, 6-year-old. What did you love about it or hate about it back then?
Christmas. I loved Christmas. And that's about it as far as I can recall. I just liked the fact that it was a film about Santa Claus. Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I can see that. What kid wouldn't at 5, 6, a big happy
bright shiny
adventure
lights.
film? Yeah, Santa, he's a kind man, he's giving toys, they're going on an adventure on a sleigh. Yeah,
I'm 6, I don't know what plot is.
So presumably you didn't hate anything about it then because you were too young and probably just enjoying Santa being on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even as a 6-year-old, I didn't like Dudley Moore. I've never liked Dudley Moore. I don't understand Dudley Moore. I don't get. I mean, Derek and Clive isn't funny. It's just two men swearing, and then his later stuff where he's kind of all family friendly is all just terrible, and I don't get the love. But hey,
no, but hey. I mean, I hadn't seen it enough to love or hate it. I think I just remember the key scenes. So the key scenes I remember was John Lithgow floating away at the end.
Yep, that's it.
Giving chase. Right at the end. Well, that's probably literally the two scenes, and I think maybe a little bit at the start, just when he was establishing Santa.
So the little bit at the start of establishing Santa, that's the bit I always get mixed up with Scrooged.
Oh, when they're on the
because they're the bit at the start.
Yeah. I can understand that. So we've now watched it as adults and not drunk. What do we love or hate about it now?
What did I love about it now? John Lithgow. What did I hate about it now? Everything else.
I mean,
it's so fucking weird. Why does it exist? It doesn't have a plot. It doesn't need to exist. There's no made up stuff about like. What are you doing?
Oh, it's such a weird film. It really is. Like, what did I write about it? Like, I thought was terrible. Yeah, the good stuff. I'll tell you what I wrote for the good stuff because there's less of that. So let me just cover that quick. John Lithgow is top. David Huddleston is not a bad Santa. He looks the part.
He's not a bad Santa, actually. I'll give you that. He looks the part, and he kind of he's a good actor because you don't get a hint of the Big Lebowski from him.
I forgot. I was like, where have I seen this dude? And when I read he was the Big Lebowski, I was like, yeah, he's hilarious in that film.
Yeah. But he's completely different.
Yeah, completely. Yep. The flying effects are passable. I mean, it's just like Superman effects if you go back and watch it. The reindeer were cool. But I mean the bad stuff.
I love seeing Burgess Meredith. I love Burgess Meredith, but he seems so out of place.
Yeah.
It's like all these other elves are British, and it's this old American dude.
Get up, Santa, you bum. I mean, what else? I mean, the child actors are terrible.
Oh, they're awful. They're
really bad.
He's the worst of the two. She's bad. He's really bad.
Awful. And he's hardly been in anything since. I think they just took one of those, but you can't act, mate.
You were cheap.
Yeah, very cheap. The film isn't really about Santa. It's more about Patch and John Lithgow, but it takes forever to even get to that bit.
It's not even about that. It's like the first hour is about Santa, and then the second hour the second 45 minutes is about Patch and John Lithgow. It's two films. Completely. 2 films smacked together.
The scripts are all over the place. I mean, tonally, it's like, what are you trying to say? Like, what is the messaging of this film? Like, I don't get it.
I feel like I say this all the time about the films we watch, but the tonal whiplash on some of this stuff, where it's just like 1 minute it's doing like earnest, saccharine nonsense, and the next moment it's going for broad comedy, and it's like, well, make your mind up.
Yeah, and I just found most of it really bored. I'm like, look, can this just end now? I'm getting annoyed with this now. I'm really getting annoyed with this.
I don't need another 5-minute montage of little men dancing.
No, but it's weird because I watched this about 5 years ago. I mean, I was pissed, and I did enjoy it. All that charm was like, oh, this is nice. But then when I watched it a couple of days ago, I was like, no, it's just crap. I really just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to something a bit more fun. Smith trivia.
Yes, Smith
What's
trivia.
enlighten us?
So the budget, it's actually hard to find the number for the budget for this film. It's apparently between 30 and 50 million, depending on who you believe.
Mhm.
But it only grossed $23.7 million. So it was a flop even at the time. Apparently it did much better in England than it did elsewhere. John Lithgow in interviews subsequently has said that English people tell him it's their favourite film. And it's like, well, no, I don't think anybody does. But okay, whatever you want to tell yourself, mate. Um, it was produced, as I said, by Ilya Salkind, who is of Superman fame, and you can really tell. Written by the same writer of Superman, Superman 2, Superman 3, Bonnie and Clyde, weirdly, which
Interesting.
is sort of held up as a Hollywood classic, although I've always struggled with it, and Moonwalker. But the less said about that, the better.
Yes.
It's directed by, I can't pronounce this guy's name, Jeanette Swartz. Very strange name.
Mm.
Directed Jaws 2.
Mm.
And Supergirl.
Mm.
A bunch of TV stuff. Originally, the person who was originally offered to direct was John Carpenter
That
of
would have been an entirely
Halloween,
different film.
and he wanted Brian Dennehy as Santa. Um, would have been a very different film. After he passed, after they couldn't agree on an artistic way forward, it was offered to Lewis Gilbert, who was the director of Alfie and Educating Rita, which would have been, again, a very different film.
Mhm.
Robert Wise, who did West Side Story and The Sound of Music, and I actually think that would have been a better fit because
Yeah.
there are bits of this film that feel like a musical. It feels like they're about to start singing, and then they never do.
Yeah.
It could have
Yeah.
done with being a musical. I think it would have
I think so.
helped.
They could have instead of just the same footage of elves dancing around, they could have like, right, let's just have a song now then, or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was finally before it went to Jeanette Swartz was offered to Guy Hamilton, who's most best known for Bond.
Again, totally different
Again,
film.
totally completely different. Dudley Moore's original character wasn't called Patch. Patch was his son's nickname. So
Okay.
he changed the name of his character to be his son's nickname, and he was the only choice for that role. BZ, now this is an interesting one, and who was originally asked to play BZ? Harrison Ford,
I cannot see
Dustin
that.
Hoffman, and Burt Reynolds were all offered the part of BZ before they gave it to John Lithgow.
But they would just, there'd be no fun. There'd be no comedy. They'd be playing it dead straight, being real evil bastards. And that's not, nah, John Lithgow was the right choice, definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely, he was, yeah, yeah. And James Cagney and Fred Astaire were offered the role of the elderly elf, the
Hmm.
Burgess Meredith role, but
Yep.
thought they were too old, so didn't want to do it. And Dudley Moore was friends with Burgess Meredith, so he suggested him. They wanted an American Santa because, as the Salkin said, similar to Superman, it was a piece of Americana.
Right.
And I was like, no, you what? Then it did much better in the UK because, yeah, we make more of Christmas than the Americans do. So,
There you go.
yeah, we even get Boxing Day, which they don't, suckers. What else have I got here? Marvel released a tie-in comic book adaptation
Hmm.
at the time, which was printed alongside some of their regular titles, and all the toys that were made were donated to charity
That's cool.
after the film finished. So loads of real kids got those shit wooden toys.
Those rocket horses.
And this is oh yeah, you froze. Sorry. This is something really interesting, which you might know that apparently it had ties with Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and Pabst Blue Ribbon. You could
Don't
never tell.
say.
No, you could
No.
never tell from watching it. No. You would never know that was the that they had some commercial tie-ins. No.
Interesting. Thinks it did its job because when this film went off, I was like, I could murder a McDonald's.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I was like, look at looking with this can of Coke as well. I was like, well, Coke cans aren't that big. What's the size of his fucking head? What do I do with that? I'm a bit hungover. I could have that. I was hungover
Yeah,
yesterday. So I was, oh yeah, yeah.
really done that.
Apparently, the McDonald's did have kind of Happy Meal toys,
Mhm.
which tied into it, which I've never seen. But then again, I wasn't alive at the time. But I would love to see if I could find examples of them and what they were like, because I bet they were shit.
I've seen footage because for my research for this episode, I watched a bit on like things you should know about Santa the Claus the movie, and there was a bit about the McDonald's things. They were kind of like coloring book type things, but you had to collect all four, so that meant you had to go to McDonald's 4 times. Smart.
Very smart. I always did that.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else for Smith trivia?
No, I think that is everything that I had.
Cool. The only bit of stew trivia I wanted to add was apparently there were rumours of very diminutive actors to be in this movie as elves. One of them was David Jason of Only Fools and Horses fame and Norman Wisdom, apparently. But
Yes.
didn't come to fruition, so it could be bullshit or they just passed on the idea.
I don't want to play an elf.
No, I want a bigger part. I don't want to be like Dave Edgog just dancing around and not saying anything. You know? Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. So, final verdict, the $1 million question: does it hold up?
No, absolutely not.
No.
If you could cut out 10 minutes of this and watch John Lithgow doing his bit, yeah, brilliant. But the film itself, good lord, no, it's boring.
Yeah, it's not good. I don't know what I was drinking 5 years ago and I watched it and I enjoyed it, but I
Beer,
did.
lots, lots of beer.
Of PBR. But I did not enjoy this at all. Yeah, I really wish you chose Jingle All the Way, but never mind.
I might go and watch that now, actually.
Yeah, I might do as well. Cool. Well, so when we regroup in the new year, it will be my nomination.
Oh,
So here we go. So let me ask you, Smith,
oh
what's
God,
your
it's something I'm not
favorite?
going to get again, isn't it?
I know I'm going to try and make this very easy for you.
All right, okay, go on.
No
I've had a
guessing.
long day at work. I'm tuning in. All
Right.
right, go on.
What is your favorite Val Kilmer movie?
My favorite Val Kilmer movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I'm trying to think of Val Kilmer films. I have a soft spot for The Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh, that is a good film.
It's a good
Okay.
film.
Let me ask you another question. What's your favorite Val Kilmer movie that also stars Warwick Davis?
Willow.
That's right. We are covering Willow because
Oh, cool. I generally haven't seen that since I was
yeah,
a kid.
me too. About 30 years, even more like 35 years since I've watched that. So I am genuinely looking forward to that. It's on Disney Plus as well, so we can watch it there. Not going to watch the TV show Willow because apparently it's shit. But no, I
Oh,
will
someone's
watch.
taking it off Disney Plus.
Have they? Oh, maybe
Yeah,
because it was shit. There you
yeah.
go. Cool. So yeah, when we regroup in the new year, we will be covering Willow, and I am very much looking forward to covering it. Hopefully, it does still hold up. Cool. Right. So just before we get out of here, a bit of housekeeping and plug our socials. So you can reach us on email at itdoesn'tholduppodcast@gmail.com. We are on Instagram at It Doesn't Hold Up Podcast. We're on Twitter, or X as it's now known, at Doesn't Hold Up Pod. We're on YouTube at It Doesn't Hold Up Podcast. And we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other good places you listen to podcasts. And remember, please do give us a review wherever you listen to us or watch us. And remember, we welcome all suggestions for things for us to cover. Cool. So, Smith, anything further you'd like to say on Santa Claus the movie?
No, but I would like to wish all of our listeners a very happy Smithmas.
Amazing. Yes. Very, very Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy New Year. And the last thing to say before we get out of here is, yo!